Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast, so number 158. Thank you for already subscribing on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you find your podcast. NumbBillsFan.com, player in the upper right-hand corner. If you don't know, now you know. GrandstandSportsNetwork.com. Get over there. There's a lot of great podcasts to listen to. Lockdown Bills is absolutely killing it. My boy Kevin Masseri, Nate Geary, Aaron Quinn, Eric Turner. Thank you guys for getting me on the sidelines with Grandstand Sports Network, Eric especially, and Chad over there. So, training camp was great for me because I got to see Nathan Peterman, and we'll get into this game. The Bills just defeated the Chargers. They got Mike Smith on the line, but I'm going to rail for a little bit here. What's up, Mikey? So, real quick, I'm going to rail. We're also brought to you by PunchDrunkSports.com. If you don't know, at PunchDrunk, shoot them a podcast follow as well. Subscribe. If you don't like commercials on this, by the way, just fast forward about 2 minutes. You'll get by them. You'll hear me. And, you know, great podcast, great sports takes, and can't wait to be more involved with them coming forward, but I'll get into more of them later on. I just want to rail on this game, and Mike Smith is on the line, but I'm going to go for a couple minutes and rail my thoughts. Mike's going to go a couple minutes, rail his thoughts. I have a lot of notes that I've been taking around throughout the game, and right off the bat, man, what an awful game for Bills fans. Let's just say Nathan Peterman starts. A lot of football people, the eerie thing is a lot of people, like, you know, a lot of football guys will go to bat for their players and their alumni from their college. And when you listen to Reuben Brown and LaShawn McCoy talk about Nathan Peterman going in, it's not like they're like, oh, yeah, definitely, yeah, he's going to tear it up. Reuben Brown's like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of Peterman games. Mike Smith and I, and if you missed the last podcast with Mike Smith and Nick Papagelos last week, we broke all that down. We went crazy. So number 157, 5 out, 2 win. Check that out. And honestly, here we go. Rick Dennison. I think this is the last straw. Right off the bat, the offensive line, and it's not showing any production. That said, the run game is there. That said, it's hilarious in this game when people are still defending Nathan Peterman, 4 interceptions in, and then the 5th one happens. And honestly, I hate to admit this, but I was kind of like, I don't want to say cheering, but I definitely was, and it's awful as a Bills fan, but I feel that Tyrod Taylor has been disrespected the entire time since this new regime has come in, and let's be real. This team has been gutted of elite talent. When people talk about draft, oh, you're going to have that 10-year starter. Okay, you got Darius. What's the best thing to do? Protect your investment. You finally have Sammy Watkins coming off of an offseason with Tyrod Taylor, and we've talked about this on the podcast. He wanted to be in Buffalo. You have Robert Woods doing damage on the Rams. Yeah, he might have been a little bit more than you wanted to pay, $8 million a year. You have Goodwin doing fine in San Francisco. These guys are getting love outside of Buffalo. You have coaching staffs continue to show that they know one side of the ball here and there. Yet the next regime comes in, and I'm going to trust this coaching staff that, again, for another week, 37-7 against the Jets, 47-3 against the Saints, the Chargers 47-10, and I believe that was like the deficits in the fourth quarter. Okay, and the final game today was 54-17, Bills losing to the Chargers. McDermott fell flat on his face, and at his presser, he's not really owning it. And I got an issue with that. And rumor has it a guy hit me up, which I'm sure Mike will get into, that Tyrod Taylor went off the sidelines after his touchdown, and McDermott, I think, had his hand out there, and he went nowhere near it. That could be true, not true. I'll look into it. But really, how the hell are you going to trot Nathan Peterman back out there? You can't. So here I am. It comes down to coaching. Where is the accountability in coaching? Because the bottom line is these coaches have proven me nothing. Nothing. There's so many holes on this roster that you don't have enough picks to pick it, and the people making the picks, I don't trust them. And I'm not wasting another 2 to 3 years of my life to go through muddled bullshit of players and coaches, new schemes coming in, and we got to get our fucking guys. I'm so over this garbage, and I cannot believe I'm praising this coach 5 games ago that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and here I am ready to jump off a bridge, driving park specifically in Rochester, because it's a great suicide bridge. It's pretty high, a lot of rocks. I mean,
you want to pump the brakes just a little bit?
Right now, I do not trust this staff at all to make adjustments that are correct to put these players in the best position to win. So why should I trust them, Mike? And I'll leave it here with you. Why should we trust this coaching staff to make, and this general manager to make the right picks in the draft. I don't. Okay, they see Peterman more than we do. What happens? They fall on their face. I take Marcel Darius high as fuck with one fucking leg in the middle right now. Phillip Rivers could have ran for 100 yards today. So, Michael, you take it from here. You take your few minutes. Rail, just leave me a tail to follow you so we can call my friend Jamie.
Well, I saw this one coming. I mean, maybe not to the turnover of 6, but a rookie starting against the Chargers, it was not the correct week to make the move. The Bills' line is not blocking. They haven't been blocking for 3 weeks. This is it was the 3rd week in a row. Terrible blocking up front. No time for the quarterback. And bringing on the 2 pass rushers that the Chargers did today, with Peterman starting, it was just too much. Although he made the one good throw at the beginning of the game, he was not stepping up in the pocket. He was not stepping into his throws, and that was blocking. But at the same time, you have to know when you can make the throw and when not to even attempt the pass. You have to sometimes get out of there. You can't always, make the throw, and he couldn't make that decision. And, it was just a rough game for the kid. And not playing Tyrod Taylor, not saying we would have won this week, but the offense would have been far more productive. The play calling, regardless of who was in the game, again, not where it needed to be. It's too basic. There's not enough there. I mean, the NFL is all about scheming. It's planning. It's picking matchups. The Bills don't do that. We don't key in on one given area at any given time. Look at teams that succeed. I mean, the Patriots, you can have a player who does nothing one week, nothing another, and then boom, he's the key focal point of that 3rd game. And then he happily goes back to his supportive role the other 2. Or maybe the next game he's the star guy again. The Saints are doing that very well this year with the run game. I think that if I'm letting somebody go, it's him. And I, too, like you, agree. The draft, they have a lot of picks, but that doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of good players. You can't just go into any situation and fire everybody. You have to
right now you do. Right now you can. You're in the best position to fire everybody. Are you kidding me, Mike? You got 7 years or 7 games left or 6 games left to see what this team can do. Okay? I'm sorry, Mike, how does it get worse than this?
Who are you going to fire, though?
Dude, look at
you're going to fire them, you're just going to start over again.
Mike, here's what I'm saying is these coaches have not proven that they know how to put any players in a position to succeed. Why are our safeties making these tackles? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Let's be real here. Let's be real, Mike. No, the defensive ends can't rush the passer.
Through the first, I believe it was the 6 games when they mentioned it in the game, the Bills were top 5 in tackles. Now they're in the bottom 5 of the league just because of the last 3 weeks. They're missing tackles. You can't miss tackles in the NFL. You have to make the tackles, and you have to swarm to the ball. Because every now and then, someone's going to get juked. Someone's going to catch a stiff arm. Someone's going to get ran over.
Mike.
You have to make tackles. And they didn't. Again.
Tyrod Taylor entered the game, and the offense looked like it had its hair on fire, okay? The offense really went out there to play for Tyrod Taylor today. Zay Jones had so much pep in his step. He got crushed across the middle of the field. Zay Jones, shout out to Zay Jones. I've been really tough on him, and that kid showed up to play today. I'm really proud of Zay Jones, okay? And, and just to see Tyrod in there, and Tyrod's like, fuck it. I can't do worse than 5 picks. And what's he doing? He's not even really looking at the low reads. He's going deep. You know what I mean? He's going deep, and I love it. Let it loose, Tyrod. You can't do worse than Nathan Peterman. You can't do worse than a lot of QBs. And what I'm worried about is this coach losing the locker room, and they have 6 games to show that they can do one fucking thing consistently good, and I will believe that this regime can pick the right players to put in the correct coach's scheme.
I think that was one good takeaway of the game. And it kind of was like awakening because Tyrod had, I don't think I've seen a Tyrod Taylor game where he's thrown it downfield that much. And
Not
he did that
in
in
this
half.
offense. Not in this offense.
So that I did like to see. And like I said, if they got rid of the offensive coordinator, that could really spark the offense. But if they don't and they keep him, if they continue this drive the ball down the field, at least that's a step in the right direction. But as of today, Buffalo Bills are no longer the 6th seed in the standings, Dave. They have dropped to 7th. And the team above them now is the Ravens, who going forward have a much easier road to the playoffs than the Bills.
Of course. And the Bills lose in bold fashion. Sean McDermott took this team from 5-2. And on one of the most pivotal games where, Mike, I was listening to this podcast from Locked On Bills with Kevin Masseri, our boy we've had on before with you. And he had this guy on from the Chargers, okay? And they cover the team the same level we do. It's not just shock radio crap, okay? And they're like, the quarterbacks get good yards on these defensive ends running the ball. And once Tyrod, and it's like, it almost sounded like the perfect game plan for Tyrod Taylor to go up against. And we saw this team run the ball well. And we see a lot more creative plays this time. And we see Mike Tolbert not in there. And that's why LaShawn McCoy scored a touchdown, because that would have been eventually Tolbert's ball to go. And I'm not ripping on Tolbert. He's been productive. I'm not as hard on him as most. But there are situations where you have elite and not elite in certain situations where, again, we've gone over this last podcast. The staff can't put him in the right spot.
We've been going over the Tolbert situation since.
But Cadet's in there and makes people
play.
Yeah, I know. But Cadet's been there, and Cadet's making people miss. They're getting the ball to their playmakers in space, and it's like, why does it take so long for you guys to figure it out? If your offensive line can't make it happen, what do? Tyrod Taylor's internal clock looked pretty sharp today. Tyrod Taylor, to me, looked like he connected on some quote-unquote timing patterns today, right? Would you not agree? That ball was out when the dude's back was turned to Dante Thompson right there on the right sideline. You know what I mean? Like, Tyrod Taylor looked solid today.
He did, and again, even when he fumbled that ball, I mean, no one was open.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, dude. At the end of the day, this could be that goalie move. What if it's that goalie move? Because that offense came out playing hard for Tyrod, and there was no way Sean McDermott looks his team in the face and says, we're going with the other guy. No fucking way. And McDermott did not really own it at the presser, how much of a gaffe he made in a bundle. And, you know what I mean? Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. Mike Shope has been exactly on point. If you guys can go back to the audio vault or on the RSS feed for Shope and Bulldog, listen to Mike Shope Wednesday and Bulldog Wednesdays hour 1 where they announced the Peterman benching. And I got to give Shope credit. He's been very consistent with how the way that Tyrod Taylor has been treated. And, Bulldog brought up the point today on the postgame, a new low in 17 years. Of this drought. This is really a new low. And, Shope brought it up. Will Peterman ever play again in an NFL uniform? I mean, it was that. You can't, what's killer is, you can't write this shit. You can't tell me that since the NFL merger, as I heard on the postgame, okay, with Shope and Bulldog, since the merger, no quarterback has ever played this bad. It is the absolute worst quarterback since the merger.
Just to Peterman's side, not that what he did wasn't terrible, but they knew what they were going into the match. And the idea of starting a rookie quarterback in that situation just boggles my mind. So I was hopeful, but I didn't see a rookie against those two blitzing DNs.
Are they? Oh my God!
Are they a 3-4? Might be a 3-4.
No. Oh, them? Ah, shit. No, they're a 4-3 because they have. I think they might be a multiple kind of defense, but typically, no, they're a 4-3 because they were talking about them being used as ends. Bosa and what the hell's the other guy? I'm losing my mind. Are you still there?
Peterman,
oh, there.
Yeah, I'm still there, but I'm just thinking back to the game. Like, Peterman was trying, he'd see somebody and he's like, man, you don't have time. Like, he was probably used to the time he was allotted in college. Because, I mean, he did beat Clemson. That was his major victory in college, was beating Deshaun Watson's national
How do
championship.
people hang their
Clemson.
hat on that one victory? How do you hang your hat on that one? Like, honestly, man, I'm on Twitter, and it's like 2 interceptions in. No, man. And it's like, dude, seriously, then 3 interceptions. No, man. And then 4 interceptions. No.
The interception off of Pat.
Don't care. Tyrod has 2 tipped interceptions. Doesn't matter, Mike. So then take that back. He still has 4.
Yeah. No, he was careless with the ball without a question. And I'm not defending him. I think he played horribly. I just feel bad for him because he shouldn't have been in the game. Like, it's just like when you're a running back and you go up to the line and you see 8 men in the box and the play call, the linemen just pinch down and you know exactly that they're going to be right there waiting for you. And you're just like, we need to get out of this play because it's not looking good for me here.
First year calling plays, Rick Dennison won't allow Tyrod Taylor to audible out of plays because we're in 5th grade now. And so what's cute about this, Mike, is if you're on defense, right, and you're facing the Bills and you see that, and you're like, can you believe these motherfuckers won't check out of this play? Are you certain they're really going to? Like, you're going to line up and you're just like, exactly, oh my God. You're like,
that's what I'm saying.
You're like really,
the
guys?
Running back in the backfield, I mean, obviously he's not a kid, but when you're there, you still like, there's not even that you're afraid of the contact. You're like, I'm going to get hit. But you're more thinking that, what are we doing here? I want us to score a touchdown.
Did you see?
I don't need the ball every play. You know what I mean?
I didn't see the beginning of the play, so I'm going to sound stupid if somebody pulls us up. Oh, you're so stupid. But, like, I think it was the first half, and McCoy's starting to run to the right side. I'm like, who the hell is this offensive lineman on the ground? It's got to be some filling guy. No, it's their starting right guard, Ducasse, getting up after LaShawn McCoy, like, tripped over him and fell over. And I'm like, you're telling me. Okay, so, Mike, I'm going to call my friend Jamie after this, okay? But really, real quick point here. You're telling me the team has so many holes, right? Okay, if you need to plug all these holes, what is the best way to plug these holes? Is that changing the scheme to tailor to your players? Or is that going to get a right guard in the draft, going to get a center in the draft, going to get a right tackle in the draft, going to get a left guard in the draft? Because, you know, you might piss off Incognito, or I don't know what the deal is. You know, who knows? Maybe you guys might mysteriously move on just for the fuck of it because you know better. You got to get a defensive end in the draft because I don't see Shaq Lawson's side really sealing the edge there. Maybe I'm crazy. The whole defensive line, it looks like in shambles. You know, it's like I'm talking to my dad. I'm like, man, you know, 3rd down, it's going to go right over the middle of the field. And what happens? Right where the linebacker should be? The ball's thrown to Phillip Rivers, goes crazy. And you know, the safeties are playing the best. The secondary is actually playing the best, believe it or not, out of that whole defense. And the offensive line, they can't name one position. Tight end that plays good, LaShawn McCoy, great game, dude. Love you, fam. Great game, seriously. Wow, you give the Hall of Famer the rock. Look what the fuck happens. And it sucks when you get Tyrod Taylor and they're like, man, imagine if you would have put him in there after 2 interceptions in the first, 6 plays. What would have happened for the rest of the game? We would have had a shot.
I honestly would have done that, and I was thinking that too. Like, I was like, if this guy's saying he wants to win, and he's about winning, after he saw this rookie quarterback go out there, have one, turnover that wasn't his fault, but then after something that wasn't his fault, not be poised enough to prevent throwing the next one. So, it's one of those things. It was a terrible decision, and it backfired miserably.
You can't play
and then
Nathan
they just
Peterman
went down
again.
the rabbit hole. They're just like, it was one of those situations. I think someone posted on Facebook. They're like, can't get any worse from here. I'm like, nah, not in football. Football, it's like a bottomless pit. You can just free fall, and next thing you know. Shoot, the Bills were on pace to have like a college football score, like 50 points. That's That's more than Alabama put up this weekend against Mercer, okay? They gave up more than Mercer did, okay? That's terrible. And they look very unprofessional as a team because it's not all on Peterman. Even if Tyrod started, it wouldn't have stopped the fact that Phillip Rivers was slinging the ball all over the field. They were running all over us. We had limited resistance, and our best resistance on defense was, maybe a penalty in our favor, which wasn't frequent. And for the record, just if anyone's paying attention, that touchdown to Keenan Allen, it shouldn't have been a touchdown. It clearly showed in the replay, now that we're talking about this, that his knee was down and that ball had not crossed the goal line. And that cost me 6 points to my fantasy opponent. So thank you very much, refs. You should have seen that.
Oh, yeah. And, dude, the refs are really, again, ticky-tack. It's like
because they could have given that touchdown to Gordon. I wouldn't have cared at that point. I was just getting crushed already, so I didn't need to see, him score another touchdown. You know what I mean?
So Eric Wood had a phantom holding call in the fourth quarter. Like, really, guys, you're going to call that? You know what I mean? These refs. And it's like incognito. It's like, oh, holding. Well, he's due just because they love to call it on him still.
Yeah, the calls that they were calling at the end of the game were strange because I'm like, the Bills just interfered that wide receiver. Like, oh, they're not going to call it. They're up 37. And then they call ghost calls later like, yeah, well, it's just officiating in the NFL.
Yeah, it's called there's Vegas involved, and we have enough technology to do everything else. You got good technology for marketing, this and that, but as far as getting the calls right on the field, we're going to shove these sub-eating fat assholes out there with stripes to make these calls with their cataracts eyes.
They say the booth in New York, but maybe the booth actually in a casino in Las Vegas.
You don't even need to do that.
David.
All right, let me call my boy Jamie real quick here. Okay, stay on the line. There's going to be a little brief hold for the listeners. Hold on, you're gonna mute out for a sec, Mike. All right, so let's make a call. So we're calling my friend Jamie real quick. He went to the Chargers game, and he's from Rochester, New York as well. It's my little bro. We would play Madden, and he'd dip out of making his payment when I won. And yo, what up, dog? You there?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. So I got you live on the air. I got to merge my call with Mike. So I got Mike Smith on the line. If you've been listening, hold on one sec.
No.
All right. So, yo, you guys there?
I'm here.
Jamie, you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here, dude.
All right, yo. So, a little intro, Jamie. We're 23 minutes in, and we pretty much railed on just about everything top to bottom. I'm going to bring you on later on in the week. For the listeners out there, Jamie's like my only little brother I've never had in my life. And when I was 18, we gambled with him and Madden when he was 12 and win. And he wouldn't pay, but I also lost just as much. And he's definitely gotten me to shatter my controllers many times, even at the rightful age of 21 in my apartment. I remember flicking a PS2 controller, shattering it. At the brick wall. And so, Jamie, it's great to have you. We call him Wolf of Wall Street within his family. And he now lives in Manhattan, and he's allegedly a baller. So, like, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
So
good to be on.
So, dude, you got to watch a piece of history. I don't know if you know this, but Nathan Peterman just had the worst performance.
Listen.
So tell us what you saw. The floor's yours for a few minutes. You just rail, okay?
I'll tell you what I saw. I saw a poor quarterback play, man. They don't. There's something going on here, and I mean, we're obviously out, like, putting a lot of weight on this draft pick coming up in 2018. So we're relying on this pick, but it's a poor quarterback play. He threw 5 picks, which was the most. I just saw a stat on Instagram. SportsCenter was saying it was the most ever from a quarterback in the first half of a football game or something. Like, craziness, dude. And poor quarterback play. And it's tough. It's tough. You saw Tyrod come in late in the game.
Second half. But did
Yeah,
the
late in
offense look
right.
like I mentioned earlier, Jamie? And I'll let you go after this. But did you go on with your point? To me, I said earlier in the podcast that the offense looked like it lit up and played for Tyrod. Did it seem like the team tried to play for Tyrod when he came out, or am I just making shit up?
That's right. And that's 100% right. I mean, he came in late in the game. But who's our guy? Like, who's our guy? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like they're gonna start Peterman, right? And then in fourth quarter we're getting fucking blown out. So they're gonna bring in Tyrod to.
Well, no. They brought Tyrod in the second half. Are you still drunk?
No, that's what I'm saying. Second half. That's what I said.
Oh, all right. I thought you said fourth quarter.
No, second half he comes in, but like, I mean, are we? I don't know. It's something about that hesitation. Like, oh, we're gonna try Peterman out. It's not working. We're gonna go with this guy. It's like I don't know. Something about that, like up and down.
Did you think it was a mistake going into the game to swap out Tyrod for Peterman?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Never should have not started Tyrod. That's a fact.
And I was active online, like we talked earlier. Like, man, I need online content from you. And I'm scrolling Twitter, and I'm like, I can't believe I got my friend Scott Campbell sits next to me with his father at the games, and Scott, you've met him, and he's a good dude. But like, we've been arguing all day. I'm watching the game from my phone at McDonald's drive-thru in the first quarter, trying to hustle my way over to my dad's, and. Scott's busy arguing with me, and then finally we were both like, hey, we're both wrong here. I don't know what the Bills should do, but I heard something I mentioned earlier in the podcast that dude hit me up. Dude said something on Twitter about Tyrod Taylor coming off the sidelines after his last touchdown, and McDermott trying to shake his hand. He just kind of ran by him or something. I don't know if you saw anything with that. I mean,
never.
Okay,
never should have benched Tyrod. I think it was a big mistake. Because dude, listen, you can, you got McDermott. You go on and on and on. Like, he's our guy. Tyrod's our guy. We're rallying behind our guy, and then to just bench him and go with another guy for fucking one half of a football game, and then to come right back. And he comes out, throws five picks. Like, that's absolutely unheard of. Throws 5 picks, and then you go right back to Tyrod. Like, what does that say? Like, I don't know. I feel like you kind of gotta have like a better grasp on your squad than that. You gotta have your guy. Like, this is who we're going with. We through thick and thin. Like, this is our guy. This is who we're going with. And to throw Peterman out there, get absolutely destroyed.
He was an abomination. Let me shoot it to Mike, because Mike might have something for you.
Go ahead.
So what do you got, Mike, from all this?
Yeah, it's like I already said. It was a bad decision. The line's not blocking. Any quarterback that's playing behind them is not going to perform well. You could, like, literally right now, with the protection and the play calling the Bills have, they wouldn't be able to take Tom Brady and make them any better right now.
Right.
So
yeah.
you gotta be able to, like, just imagine Tom Brady going up to the line and not being able to audible. I think he'd be very frustrated. Like, even in college football, like, a lot of offenses do the hurry up, so they just go up to the line. They don't even call a play until they're in formation. Once they're in formation, then they call a play. So they're like almost audibling every play right there at the line.
Well,
they're audible.
They're
predictable.
Exactly.
And if you guessed right, you're going to stop them. Now, that's it. Everyone knows. They're like, yeah, we got them.
First run play of the game. Didn't LaShawn McCoy lose yards?
Yeah, right after that catch by Benjamin. I mean, that was a nice pass. I mean, it wasn't amazing like all the Bills fans. I'm sure all the people that thought Peterman should have started, they were like, yeah, see, look at that. And then Calvin, like, just the moment they got excited, like, karma hit them and Benjamin gets hurt. They went from, like, excitement he big bodied, threw in this coverage. And
that commercial, that radio break was so long, Mike. I was like, okay, they're taking out the cart, and then next thing you know, the cart's out, great. And then I see it when I get to my dad's house a minute later, and I see his knee, and it's like, if I would have told you, Jamie,
he walked off the field, and then after he went to the blue tent, then he got carted off.
Okay, so follow this. So Jamie, if I was to tell you that you would go see Nathan Peterman not only start, but the byproduct is Nathan Peterman, just by happenstance, just Bills luck, gets number 13 killed, even though it was yards after catch, and it's on Cal. You know what I mean? It was exciting. We saw all the potential of Calvin Benjamin, and then it just within like 5 seconds of the Bills' future. Could this be it? We want to see a guy get hit in stride down to, oh my God.
I'll tell you what. Listen, I'll tell you what too. From talking to the Bills fans in the crowd, the conversation's changed, man. It's like right before Peterman even took the field. Guys, they're already talking who we take. Are we going Mayfield in the draft? Like, I mean, dude, the conversation's already changed. It's not about Peterman. It's about like looking to 2018 and sort of going forward. I think that like nobody really thinks that the Bills have the pieces of the puzzle already figured out. I think everyone's thinking like we have an incredible setup for 2018. Let's push forward and see what we can do in the draft and what we can pull from there. So, I mean, as far as like, I don't think there was ever a moment where the conversation was like, oh, Peterman, here's the second coming. Here's the fucking, here's our Buffalo guy. Like, no, it was never that. It was like, let's throw this guy out there and see what he can do. He goes out there, throws 5 picks. Everyone's like already, are we going, we probably won't pick early enough to get Rosen or the USD guy. So we're looking at Darnold. So, we'll probably go get Mayfield in late, like middle of the draft or whatever. So
can I ask you a question, bud? Let me hop in here, and then I want to shoot Mike in for the rebuttal, or you, Jamie, and then Michael rebuttal. So I mentioned something earlier, which you weren't here for yet, but you'll hear it. But essentially, I'm along the lines of, okay, it starts. You got to set up like this at the top, and this is going to incorporate what I talked earlier in the podcast. So follow along, listeners. It starts with ownership. You go down to the general manager. You go down to the coaches, and then the players, right? Well, it seems like trust the process is do what the fuck I say or else, and you have to fall in line. And you have to have that message, because whether I'm an independent person or not, we do have to play as a team. It really is a team. At the same time, you're preaching accountability, and you're one of 11 on that side of the ball, and we've talked about all these X's and O's the whole time. I keep tracing back to the last podcast, number 157, Dennison's last straw, 5 out, 2 win. And for me, it's like, this coaching staff has proven nothing that they can get the right players in the right position to succeed, and I don't think they deserve a shot unless they really wow me in the last 6 games, which hasn't happened, to get their shit together, that they deserve a chance to take a crack at that, because if not, all of our equity goes out the window. Do you trust this coaching staff right now?
No, I don't.
And general manager to make the right picks? And by the way, to people out there, Jamie also went to school at Clemson for a few years and went to a lot of Carolina games, right? And you did go to the last Carolina game. So you do kind of have a pulse of Carolina. And last I checked, Carolina isn't like some great franchise. It ain't like great. If it was that stable, don't you think their general manager was there? If it was that, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't. This is a team that went 5-2. And there's a difference between like, okay, you jump out to a 5-2 start. It's incredible, right? And there's a lot of like good stuff on the way. And then, but listen, we're not losing close games to New England. We're getting blown our asses off by the Chargers. Like, this is,
they haven't put up more than 27 points this season.
Well, that's the embarrassing thing. It's not the fact that we've just lost the last 3 games, one of which was to the Jets. It's
You're right.
The fashion in which how we lost.
Right.
Okay, to get crushed by the Jets, and then to get crushed by the Saints, then to get crushed by the Chargers. Like, I mean, 54 points. And then last week they put up, 47? I mean, that's 100 points that we've given up in 2 weeks.
Yeah. This isn't just losing by a couple points to the Pats, man. This is getting our asses blown out by bad teams.
Why couldn't we get Anthony Lynn to stay here? Have an offense that works around the players, okay, and just have a defense that can just stop the ball somewhat, just stop the bleeding. And the thing that kills me about this team, guys, is really, you come in here all bold, just trading away your equity. You know what? Yeah, we wasted 2 first-round picks on Sammy. Get the hell over is what they're telling us. It's like, no, you still had the talent in the building. You still had the talent of Darius on a contract where you were kind of fucked on. You might as well eat it and see if maybe it's a long season, if maybe he shows someone's giving a shit. And it's like, no, you just throw the equity out the window. Like the worst investors I've ever seen. Equity out the window. And honestly, it's like, you know what? You could have stayed with Anthony Lynn. You could have brought in Gus Bradley, and this team would be doing a lot better. Because you at least have something being maintained, and it comes down to the offensive line play, the defensive line play, and it's atrocious.
Yeah.
Mike, thoughts before we wrap this up, and I'll let you guys go?
No, I mean, I don't have anything else to add. I mean, the Bills got to get their shit together. They got to make tackles. They need to fill gap assignments. They need to play football. Like, they've embarrassed themselves on the offensive side and on the defensive side the last 3 weeks. They can't block, and they forgot how to take the ball away, too. They're not getting turnovers. They're not blocking. They're not making tackles. It's not a healthy combination for success.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't even care what the play calls are or what it is. If you're not blocking, it doesn't matter what the play call is. You could have a great play call. Someone could be wide open. If the guy's not blocked, that guy's not getting the ball. So they need to put some more effort out. Well, they're giving it all their effort. They might just not be good enough.
If you're giving up 50 plus points to the Chargers, man, you're getting your doors blown off. Like they got some very, very big issues on defense that they got to figure out, because real fast, like, you can't be giving up 50 points to some of the worst teams in the league. Like, and the Bills pride themselves on defense. Like, it's supposed to be one of the better defenses in the league. And
when you're talking worst teams in the league, you mean Chargers and the Jets. But the 47 against the Saints, I mean, the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL right now, both offensively and defensively. But they still could. There was many situations in that game where they had opportunities to do things, and poor play calling and Tyrod not being able to audible put them in bad situations. Not to mention all the penalties.
The guys, man, people want to talk about Tyrod's a starter for 4 years, 3 years. So it's his third year, and it's like, man, I made the case, and I really mean this, guys. We all know that we support this team, and I love this team. And to the regular listeners to the podcast, you would know this, and to all the new ones, I love you. Thank you for checking it out. But really, I'm not one to really rail on the coaches right out the gate, because I want to support the team. I want to support the coaches. I want to support everything until you start proving otherwise. And one thing that I do not have any... Okay, look. Let me break it to you this way. Mike, you have your own business. Jamie, you're a hustler, and you're always on the grind, and you beat into your own drum. So us three here, we've done the same thing. I have a drywall business, okay? I pattern my business against the guys who already do it, right? So if I pattern my business after the guys who have already done it, what that means is I have somebody to bounce feedback off of when shit hits the fan, a.k.a. Tom McKinley, Tommy Drywall, who I have on the podcast, who I've been messaging throughout the game as well. Point being is, these coaches have tape of these players being used successfully, and somehow, is there a lack of coaches to run the correct scheme at the line? Your first hire on offense was Juan Castillo, and the first thing that Dennison said when brought up, like early on in his presser last week, was he got on the horn with Juan right away after that game. Well, whatever it is, I've never seen a Bills team play this bad on both sides of the ball. And I'm just saying, guys, you can't do bad changing the coach next year. You really can't, because I don't know how you get this team to play for you. That's the territory we're getting to, and I have never seen this before since I've had this podcast. And, dude, I hated Doug Marrone, but what if Doug Moron's been right the whole time? You know what I mean? Like, what if he really did wave his hands and go, what the fuck is this, with Sammy Watkins and walk out of the room? What if he really did do that? Like some people say is, what the fuck? And he walked out of the draft room when they drafted Watkins. You know, I said that when they drafted Manuel. What the fuck is this? You know, and here we are. I go to camp and I see Jeff Tools throwing a better ball than Manuel, and people will shit on me all you want. But for the same reason you want to see Jeff Toole, and the same reason I want to see Brian Brom, is the same reason that people want to see Nathan Peterman. And I'm glad this experiment is over, because finally we got to go, well, you've never done it.
I didn't want to see Peterman.
I didn't mind it in a tactical advantage of we got to evaluate the offensive coordinator, so I didn't mind seeing him. And next thing you know, the line still can't do its thing.
Yeah.
Mike,
I wasn't too hyped up on the Peterman start today. I just didn't think they needed to jump out and throw him out there like that.
I didn't think so either, and that's what I was saying. I mean, I can understand all the reasonings why someone would do it. I mean, I can understand anything that you say, but at the end of the day, it was a bad decision, and it should not have been done, regardless of what your rationale or thought process was. I mean, it was clear that it was going to be a situation that he saw today. Heavy rush and constant pressure, and when you're a rookie, it's your first start, you have nerves, and it's the NFL. It's a fast league. Not everyone comes in like Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott, okay? Especially in that situation. At least when Dak came into the league, he had a solid line up front to protect him, to give him time to think, and the run game was just tearing everything up. So it opened things up. Plus, they gave him the ability to audible if needed as a rookie. Not that much, but enough to keep the offense moving. So that's all I can say. There needs to be more freedom at the QB spot, and if they got to get rid of the offense coordinator, I said they should have done it last week. I still think they should do it this week. So.
Guys, I'll say, I didn't want Peterman in there because of confidence, okay? It's all about confidence. You got to build these guys up, and now pretty much you have a wasted pick. You could say you have a wasted pick. This is awful. This is absolutely awful.
I'm not going to go as far to say that it's a wasted pick. The situation that he was thrown out in is terrible. They wouldn't even have put him into the situation if they didn't see something in practice.
My problem is, I feel like they got Is there an issue with commitment to throw Peterman out there, benching Tyrod like that? I was talking to some guys in the stands today, and they were saying if Tyrod's not your guy, why didn't we go get Deshaun in the draft last year?
Or I'm biased
because I'm a Clemson guy, but why don't we go get Deshaun? He's our quarterback of the future. Why didn't we go get him last year? I know we had Tyrod in this year, but if we're that set on going after our future the Bills are going to draft a quarterback first pick, that's for sure. This coming draft. So it's if you're that set on it, why didn't we go last year? And it's kind of you go Peterman, and, you throw him out there, and then it's a hit to Tyrod's confidence by benching him. I don't know. I just feel like it's more of a commitment issue. It's if he's your guy, he's your guy. You gotta have, you gotta go with him.
Quick side note. So I'm just scrolling through the feeds, and one of the headline reads. So it's a similar situation to Buffalo, but you would have thought better. The Chiefs right now are slipping, and they lost again today to the Giants.
To the Giants, yeah.
So there's national media asking, should Pat Mahomes start over Alex Smith at this point because they've lost 4 in a row.
Which is wild to think that.
So In this situation, what would you guys do if you were the Chiefs? Would you say Alex Smith or
no? No. You don't kill his confidence like that. I mean, it's like, guys.
Right.
I mean, guys. Here's the problem with the Bills, and I really mean this. And Mike, Mike is around, and Jamie will always call me out for being more of a Vikings fan when we were younger, which is fucking true. And like, dude, I'll be real with you, man. Like, the Bills are one of the most painful teams I've watched for years. And once I saw the Music City Miracle, I'm like, these refs are bullshit. And my dad and I were just talking about where we were when we were watching it. And it's like, I'm watching the game with my dad today, which is surreal. But, guys, I love this team, and I want to support this team. But they're making it really hard. And honestly, we can't just keep taking these guys and throwing them out the window. We can't take these quarterbacks. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is the total answer, but god damn it, when you have really bright football minds like that have played the game, like Reuben Brown, you have guys like Donald Jones, who's a hard worker, John Murphy, who's been a fan, replacing the legend. You know what I mean? On the radio. And he's just going, and you got these trusted people talking, and you got Mike Schopp and Bulldog, who just, people like to take dumps on him because they just like to hate, but really, they just cut it real. And that's, Schopp said it today in the postgame. Let's just keep it real here. That's all we're looking for is real honesty. And guys, the egos need to stop. I just want to see an offensive scheme stay in place for 4 years. Can we please do that? Can we please keep a scheme that just guys, if you mimic exactly what the team did before, why don't you change your terminology a little bit and adjust it to the players, and then just do what they did before, and you get the credit, and they're like, wow, you're a genius because you put the players in the best position to win. Wow, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, our way's better. We're going to put square pegs into round holes constantly. And now it's on both sides of the ball, and it's really... They got to show up.
Yeah.
So
it's really disappointing. I mean, the defense it's disappointing to be giving up 50+ points to like an offense like the Chargers. I mean, it's tough because the defense is really it's our bread and butter. It's a couple of years ago we're the best defense in the league, and to just see 54 points today. I mean, it's tough. It's a lot. and you mentioned it. We go to the Jets, we get our doors blown off. We got the Saints, which is a good football team, so I can understand that. But then to come out here to the Chargers on the road and just get absolutely smoked, it's tough.
Let me read some stats off to you guys, and then Mike, I'll let you jump in. So total plays, the Chargers had 73 with 429 yards. The Bills had 493 yards, to give you an idea, but obviously garbage time.
Yeah.
The Chargers only had, it says 1 penalty for 13 yards. The Bills 6, which we know 2 to 3 of the Bills are bullshit.
Had 393 for total yards. They didn't have as much as the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers had 429. My overall point is, you know what I mean? You're looking at Phillip. 35 attempts rushing for the Chargers on 146 yards. That's not horrible statistically, but goddamn, they were just doing whatever they wanted. I mean, these guys are just having career days against the Bills every year, and it's like, LaShawn McCoy looked like he can do what he can do. You know what I mean? And I honestly, again, I'm sure next podcast I'm going to be a lot calmer. I'm going to be like, no, we got to support our coach. Got to trust the process. But I'm telling you right now, this podcast will be called Stop the Process. Bills get blown out again.
Or you could call it Pump the Brakes because you're a little over the top right now, a little emotional.
Mike, what does this team, Mike, what do the Buffalo Bills do well?
What do they do well?
What do the Buffalo Bills continuously do well? What can you count on the Buffalo Bills right now to do in the next game?
House Bunny makes field goals.
Okay. and after 7, listen, guys. I
was gonna say make poor play calling because I can almost go to the bank every game I watch and be like, wow. That was atrocious.
So check this out, guys.
Even when the Bills were winning, you weren't just like, man, they're really they're really out scheming. You're just like, man, we won that game. We got lucky today.
Hey. You're a head coach, and you preach turnovers the whole time. You give away, like, more turnovers than the same amount of turnovers and completions in 4 passes.
Right after
exactly.
The second pick.
Yep, exactly my point. So it's like you preach a turnover, and, it's about turnovers, that's how you won. And meanwhile, you just give the ball away for 31 points on turnovers. 31. Yeah. And if your defense could stop anything.
It's crazy.
Anything. Where's Jerry Hughes? He's getting close. What's going on here? You know what I mean? Any sort of chemistry this team might have had, this team has zero chemistry with anything. And it's awful because you have Marcel Darius who's worked with Kyle, and I watch the sidelines. Those two sat next to each other every play. I mean, that's just what you do on a bench, but that's what they did. Okay, they talked after every play. I saw it on the sidelines. I did give Marcel the benefit of the doubt. When Marcel got traded, I was like, okay, I guess the coaches see something more than we do, but hey, I'm on board with it. Let's go. But the defense is looking more consistent at the time. And I love Leslie Frazier, man. I wish this team could just get their shit together. This is so hard to just sit here and just bash on these coaches, but they deserve it because the players take all the heat. And I'm sick of holes. The best way to fill holes is to coach. That's all I got, guys. You have anything else?
We'll have to thank you, Dave. That's it. Have a good one, guys.
All right, Mike. I'll see you, bud. Jamie, you good?
Yeah. All
right, Mike. You go, Mike. I'm going to talk to Jamie for a sec. I think Mike left us. All right, Jamie.
I got you.
All right. So, How was the atmosphere there, by the way?
It was very Buffalo.
Have you ever been to the Rhino Stadium?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
I heard is that Salem Stadium? Is that what it's called? Because Sal Capaccio said that it's just like that stadium.
Very, very Buffalo. There was, easily 50% Bills. Great atmosphere for Buffalo. Really represented well. We had the LA Buffalo and the San Diego Buffalo crew both took buses up. Really represented well.
Who'd you go with? Did you go with your sister or no?
Yeah, I was with Katie, my buddy, her boyfriend. Yeah, so we had a crew there. But is he a good guy or do we got to take him all back? He's a good dude. We don't gotta kill him.
Okay.
So
my girlfriend goes, man, you look crazy. Do I look crazy? Do you think I have the crazy? Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like I look like a dumbass. I don't think so either. Okay.
But yeah, very, very, very Buffalo scene up there. And I knew that was the case going in. I kind of had the feeling that I know the Chargers home games were a very away game. It's basically a home game for the Bills, essentially with. You got 35,000 fans in the stadium, and 20,000 of them are Buffalo fans. So, but it's an interesting atmosphere to play in. It's cool seeing it in a stadium that small. I was in the lower deck, so I was basically on the field, which is so cool. But yeah, Bills fans traveled well.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. I really wanted to go. Every time I look at the schedule, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go fly to this one. I'm going to go fly to that one. I'm going to go fly to that one. And I just don't. And I'm glad I didn't. Because I'd be so... Honestly, what I'd really like to do is I plan on making more content. So I keep talking about it, and I'm slowly trickling up. But I got to... I want to make some more content and try to, get something going here. And honestly... I would like to be able to afford to go to these games and really get a vibe because, man, I get this will sound weird, but if I could just get a ticket even in the 300s at every stadium that the Bills play in, I love feeling the vibe of the team. I saw the Bills out of town in Miami. I've seen the Bills out of town in Toronto.
You see them? You went to Miami?
A couple years ago. The first year with Tyrod Taylor, Rex Ryan, and Percy Harvin. That's another thing about those teams too. Is at least Rex's teams, we could blame a little bit unorganized, but you could at least blame that they had a lot of injuries. So and on the receivers and pass targets, the Bills have had a lot of injuries. But I will say, I like to feel the vibe, see the mannerisms of the team, on the sideline. And I'm really worried that Sean McDermott might lose the team. So, man, I really do like his process. I like his quote-unquote mantra. I like his whatever. But, like, in hindsight, are some players like, well, here we go again. Another coach is going to come in here and change Buffalo. If you're, say, Kyle Williams, we're going to change Buffalo, you're Eric Wood, whoever you are, and here he is. He's going to come in. But you know what? I got to give the coach credit for trying. You know what I'm saying? And at least it is something different. And this is something that for Bills fans, we can find and we go, okay, well, we tried that. Remember that? So let's be a little bit more calculative. So now we could just go back to, we need to draft a quarterback because I'm kind of worried that Tyrod Taylor won't even want to play here. With the report coming out earlier saw from Bleacher Report saying Tyrod Taylor is or the Bills are going to seek options to trade him. Like, what? So, who knows? Did you like, the crowd was so loud for the Bills, by the way.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was very good. Very good. You really can't. You go on the road. I've seen Buffalo on the road several times. I've seen them in MetLife, obviously being a New York guy. So, I've seen them in MetLife for primetime football and stuff. But I'll tell you what, they showed up really well, and the crowd was really into it. It's tough, man, when you're getting your doors blown off. It's hard to get anything going and get the crowd into it and stuff like that. And they really couldn't get anything started, I think, all day. So even though the crowd was there, it's hard to get them going when you're giving up 50 some odd points.
Yeah, can't believe it.
Every time there was no momentum. There was just no the audience was there, like the crowd was there. We were ready to get into it, and then it's just touchdown. It's hard to rally behind your team when you're every single possession you're giving up touchdowns, and it was a lot, man. It's to a team like that, to the Chargers too, especially. I think it's just, that's a tough loss. That's a tough loss to take by 54 points or whatever. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking from here, man?
Dude, honestly, I'm at a loss.
They're a 5-2 football team, and then they come out and then they get worked by the Jets. They get worked by the Saints. They get worked by the Chargers. Like, where do you go from here?
Dude, you know what the crazy part is like, you go into these games earlier in the season. I thought they might have had like 2 10-day stretches to prepare for teams. I could be wrong. But it's like, you had to bye a week, and every time you're like, all right, well, this time we're gonna get our shit together. We're going to come out and get our shit together. Hey, man, we had the minds collecting together, man. And, we were there 15 minutes in the field house and 15 minutes after. And, the players are working. That's the thing, is the players are working. Now, man, we got a lot of holes to fill. I got one hole to fill, and it's the coaching department. And because
you're really going after the coaches on this one, huh?
I'm going after accountability for the coaches. I'm not saying necessarily fire the coaches, because I don't want to see people without their families and this and that. And I understand this is a learning process, but again, I also am. I don't. It's not my fault that I have season tickets. It's not. And you can probably vouch for me on air right now. You know me like, since I was like 14, 13. Right?
Yeah.
So 15 maybe. So you can honestly say I'm very frivolous with my money, and I'm not really a cheap person. But I do have some money invested in 3 tickets on this shitty team.
Right.
And you're not making me proud, and your dog and pony show needs to come to an end. And I said it earlier in the season. Look, your coach speak is great, and I really hope that McDermott doesn't beat the shit out of me, because he can. And his wrestling pedigree is 2 million times better than I could have ever dreamed of, because I sucked. But, like, Shawnee, I don't want you to hurt me. Okay, I do support you. At the same time, right now, you got to really take a hard look at your coaching staff. And the best thing to do here is you saw what Bills fans did to Rex Ryan. You're going to be next. My advice to you, Sean, is to own it. Come out and own it. Look, guys, I really miscalculated this. I really messed up. I went into this season. I did not get the coaches to put the players in the right position to win. And the reason I'm calling this out is the Bills brass talked highly, and the Bills media and all that stuff about Sean McDermott's notebook, okay? About he's going to have an answer for everything. And I've seen an answer for nothing. And as a street kid growing up in the hood, I can sense a talker a long way away. And I'm a talker myself. So I know the fucking game that's being played here. And I'm not that stupid. I don't like to be look stupid. Rex Ryan makes me feel fucking stupid. Okay? I'm feeling stupid supporting this coach in the beginning of the season and showing adjustments that cannot be made. Okay? I don't trust.
You didn't feel stupid when
I feel hoodwinked right now, bud.
You didn't feel stupid when they jumped out to a 5-2 record, though.
No, I felt like, okay, well, they still
like
can't.
You're doing something right, and now so what's going wrong now?
So here's what I think is
it didn't look bad when they were 5-2. It looks bad now when they're blowing games.
So here's how it looks to me. Here's how I look at it. I look at it like the Patriot method. Okay, that method is, and to other teams around the league, is you get your shit together, and we've seen this with the Patriots. You use the first few games to get your shit together, get your kinks worked out. You don't know your team through the first 4 games. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
You know, we're 8 games in, 7 games in, they're 5-2. Like, awesome, right? But I wanted to deny it too. Well, how long is this going to last? How long is this going to last? How long is this going to last? You got these turnovers that are coming in bunches. Meanwhile, you have an offense that can't run the ball. But the thing is it's coaching. And the reason it's coaching is because these coaches decide who gets to be trotted out there. Chan-Gailey took a lot of heat for, it was Fred's turn instead of C.J. Spiller. You don't think that I trusted those coaches in hindsight because he came in with the Jets Chan-Gailey and got them to put up numbers for 2 years really well. Underrated coach. Donald Jones calls him a mastermind on offense. And, maybe they knew that C.J. Spiller had no vision to save his life and they saw that kid every day. Okay, well, offensive coordinator said earlier in the show, mentions that it's Tolbert's turn in the rotation. Well, it's not Tolbert's fault that he's out there. It's not Incognito's fault that Tolbert's out there on a swing pass, and you have a Hall of Famer that catch a screen pass as well. I heard Sammy Watkins last week got a touchdown off of a fucking screen. Why is it rocket science to put on college tape? Why is it rocket science to do what guys have done successfully? This is coaching. This is not a game of egos. You guys got to figure something out. I think these guys got to do a bunch of psychedelics or something and sit in a room and have a fucking powwow and play some Madden or something. That way, I don't know what they got to do. Watch tape, okay? I don't understand because whatever's going on here, it needs to get cleaned up because I want to support this coach. I really do like his process. I really do like that he seems detail-orientated. But I do not like that you have coaches that cannot coach. They cannot get these players to succeed consistently. I've never seen a Bills team like this.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but again, were you having the same conversation, 3-4 weeks ago?
No, because I thought they could work the kinks out by now, and they can't. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, think about this. Remember watching Dick Duran, and you and I would call the plays. And I remember, wasn't there a Bills quarterback that ran really slow one year, and I danced him around and ran in for a touchdown on you, and you were freaking flipping out.
I'm sure you did.
Who was it? Was it Trent? I don't think it was Trent Edwards.
Trent Edwards?
It might have been. Because I don't think he can move. It wasn't Drew Bledsoe.
Flash in number 5.
Remember I had the 6 spin move? I know it haunts you. There was one quarterback spin move where you were
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm getting triggered with the old man stuff.
Well, at least you didn't lose anything, break anything,
Yeah.
And your mom threatens to call the cops on me because I'm trying to get my $2.
She was kicking you out of the house because
I was trying to get paid the money that was due me.
Yeah,
I think it was only 2.
we got some battles, man.
Dude, so are you I can't give up on the team because I love the pain. I'm sure next podcast my tone will be totally different, but I just want to see McDermott do the right thing. It's a learning experience, I understand, but you can't have these players looking at you like you know what the hell is up when the coaches have no accountability. And that's all.
So here's the thing.
They got to earn the players' respect to get them to play for them. Does that make sense?
It does. But here's the thing. Answer this question. Are the Bills... Are we building for the future? Are we like do you think McDermott is going in, week out, thinking that this team is a playoff team? I mean, clearly not the case the past 3 weeks, but like I think that there's a lot more building to do here, and I think it's very clear. Especially you talk about coaching. You know what? I think you're right. I think it is a lot of coaching because the indecisiveness of across the board, even in starting your quarterback. I mean, I can't get behind the Peterman move. I can't do it. And like to go with Peterman and watch him go out there and throw 5 picks to the LA Chargers, dude. Like, it's tough. I think that is a coaching move. It's kind of like it shows me the coaches losing confidence. It shows me the coaches getting scared, kind of. I think they jumped out. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're 5-2 football team," and then they start losing some ball games to some really bad teams, and then they're like, "Yeah, maybe we're not so good," and and then they start shaking up the staff here, and I don't know. Do the coaches have it all together? Do they have it all figured out? And is the game plan set here? I don't know if it is at this point. It's especially after these couple bad losses, really, really, really bad losses. Do they have it all figured out? I don't think they do.
I don't think so either. And that's the thing is, if there's one thing to build off from this game, it's the run game. I know it's counterintuitive, but the run game did show up today. Or at the same time, do I just say that McCoy finally caught some breaks? You know what I mean?
McCoy's great. Listen, McCoy, he's great. He runs the ball really hard. He's an incredible athlete. He's our guy. He's a great running back to have. But so you finally see the Bills get their running game going, but nothing else is clicking. Like literally nothing else across the board. The defense, the passing game, like nothing else was clicking. And it's just it's a difficult storm to weather here. When you got nothing else going for you.
Jamie, keep your head up, man. I'm gonna keep my head up.
Trying to.
You know what I mean?
Trying to. It's just, dude, it's tough. These were 3 games, and it's not getting any easier, right? Who do we got the next couple games? It's not getting any easier. These were 3 games that we, maybe not the Saints, but like you need to beat the Jets on the road. You need to beat the Chargers on the road. These were 2 games we needed to win. And when you get, and it's not even like it's a overtime loss. We got our doors blown off, dude. Like these were very, very, very bad losses. Absolutely crushed, and that's what's the worst part about it. It's not just a couple points. A tough loss at the end of the day. This is like, these are the kind of losses like, oh shit, like. That we're in trouble. We will not make the playoffs with this kind of caliber team. Getting 54 points to the Chargers, it's craziness. Can't happen.
So, I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things where it's obviously time will tell, and I just want to finally have a coaching staff where, I'm sorry. I wouldn't mind having like the Bengals situation. I wouldn't mind having the Harbaugh situation on the Ravens. A Bruce Arians situation there. it was cool seeing Anthony Lynn and Phillip Rivers on the sideline, like stoked at the end of the game. It's just, I just want to see, this team. I'm so proud of the Bills when they were winning at home and really putting out and figuring out a way to win because they were playing as a team. And when the team doesn't show up, you wonder if they're playing, for the coach anymore. And I'm not saying they're not, but I mean, that's the next phase of this thing, and it's going to get ugly. And the Bills just seem like the Browns right now. And I just want to be a few years into a coaching staff where, cool, man, we only have a few holes. And as many people want to rip the Bills for Whaley and all that, I mean, we did not have this many holes with Whaley and any other coaching staff in mind. The problem we had, again, was the coaches. We had Rex Ryan, 3-4 instead of a 4-3, But what was a plus size? You now have a guy who came in as offensive coordinator who is now a head coach in San Diego, and they're just about back in the playoff hunt. Okay, great. Go Bills, because that team's going to come to haunt you. The Bengals can come to haunt you. And don't even sleep. Come on, man. They could lose 5 more games. They could lose
easily.
5 more games.
Easily.
So, don't sleep on the Dolphins. I think Matt Moore should have been the starter from the fucking start. Come on. Like, once Tannehill went out. Like, stop. It's just, these coaches, they just kill me, and I don't know, Jamie. I just want to wrap up here. I really mean this to the organization. I want to see them succeed, and, for people that want to stop the process, I don't blame you, but I think I might be one of the only ones suggesting it, and I'm not trying to get anybody fired. I'm just trying to say, if you want to be X's and O's accountable and preach accountability, then something needs to happen on the coaching side, because there's too many loose ends here where your guys are not performing. You preach being organized, you preach a notebook, this and that, week in, week out, halftime. This team is so inept to make adjustments. They're so slow. You get Calvin Benjamin, and you think you'd throw him out there for a competitive advantage. Have him just suit out for the Jets, even a couple plays. Just go. Pull a safety just to relieve maybe a little pressure off the offensive line. But no, they don't do any of that shit. They're too smart. Trust the process. We got a thing going on here. We've never coached an NFL game ourselves, but hey, man, you got to trust it, and it's okay. I'm trusting. I was. I don't know if I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so, I don't know if I do either. It's easy to trust the process when you're playing great football. You're jumping out to a big lead, in the record. But it's a different story when you're, again, just losing really bad games to really bad teams, and it's tough. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You want to blame the coaching staff. I don't know. Like I said, my biggest hang up with them is the indecisiveness. I don't like the quarterback controversy going on. I don't like. I don't think Peterman should have ever been on the football field today. There's a lot of different storylines going on that I don't really agree with, and as you mentioned, it all comes back to the coaching staff. It's decisions coming from the top, and do they have a grasp on this team at this point? And you're starting to see the true colors when, you lose 3 in a row to bad, again, I don't count the Saints, but like you lose 3 in a row to pretty bad teams. It's, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, do they have a grasp on this team that we thought they did when they were 5-2? I don't know if they do. So where do you go from here? But hopefully, I think I'm hoping McDermott sort of gets it figured out, and they can sort of straighten the ship here. But in the meantime, what do they do from here? What is McDermott saying in the locker room today? After a couple bad losses,
Did you hear? Did you hear his press conference? By the way,
I didn't listen.
It wasn't
no.
bad. I mean, he was very, what's he supposed to say? Well, one thing I think he needs to do is just own it more, and he really kind of didn't. And there's just an ignorance, and I don't like when coaches make us feel dumb.
Did he come out and say we fucked up by benching Tyrod?
No, not at all. Actually, I actually have some notes I took. McDermott on him, he goes, there's going to be ups and downs, yada, yada, yada. You know what my dad said? Don't call him Nate. Because he wants to be called Nathan.
Yeah.
Because it was, well, Nate, and my dad goes, don't call him Nate. And then, Jerry Sullivan actually had, Jerry Sullivan, I rip on that guy for being so negative for years. But, man, is he just fire right now. He asked the best questions ever. He really does. He is just so brutal. Just so brutally honest. And, he is busy up there calling him out. And it's like, it's really a no-brainer that Peterman can't go in. And McDermott needs to just own it and tell his team, I don't know what else to do. I'm doing my best here. Please ride with me. Okay? And he needs to own it. But, man, the Bills are not making a good case for themselves for players to come here next season. They're not going to make a good case for me to believe that the draft picks are coming. I'm so mad. I'm contemplating selling a couple tickets, maybe only having one, or I don't know. I don't want to sell them.
Don't do that because I need the ticket whenever I'm in town.
Well, do you want to come to any games this year, by the way?
I might come to one, yeah.
Okay.
I'll hit you up.
Well, hit me up. I'm going to let you go. Let me roll these ads out of there. Where can we find you on Twitter or Facebook or something? I'd like to get you involved more.
Yeah, do it.
Where can we find you?
You find me on there. I had Jamie Kryder. Same for my Instagram, everything else. I'm on there.
JamieKryder.
That's right, yeah.
All right, little bro. I'll see you, buddy.
Yeah, you throwing this up on the podcast now?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it up. I gotta write out my description.
Right.
Trying to put more time into my description.
Yeah, I got you. I'll throw it up on Facebook too. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take care, bud.
Yeah, I got you, man. You too.
See ya.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Jamie Kryder there, and the title of this will be, I added a question mark as I'm typing here. Stop the process with a question mark. Let it be known, final thoughts here. I'm your host, David Palermo. Thank you for subscribing, following along on Instagram and Twitter. Check the Instagram live or story. The reason this podcast is here, I've been trying to really reach out and get some more listeners. Trying to alter my post towards the platform, really trying to put a good effort into it and sharpen this podcast up. I've been not as high as I'd like. I've been remodeling the house, got a million excuses, whatever you want. I'm not doing as much music anymore, so I'm trying to sharpen this up since I don't play out. I left the band I was in, and I'll be honest with you, music brought me into the Bills and into sports again to get my mind off of music. And I podcast because I don't believe everything that I hear. And there are certain takes that aren't there that I don't believe. And frankly, to be on here and to talk to friends and to offer them a platform or people I think that might have a good perspective, I appreciate the patience of the listener. Sometimes the calls aren't the best quality, but I have my headphones on. Mike is a classic example. Mike, you're making too much noise, but he means well. So it's like he doesn't hear what I hear through the headphones. But today, thank you for sticking through it. I want to get these takes out on the air and really have differing opinion. But we've all watched this team, and I want to support this team. But with the coaching in and out, this revolving door of coaches every 3 years or less now, Dick Duran was the longest tenured coach. And the Bills keep doing one thing, blowing everything up. And we can be stoked on draft picks, this and that. Well, I could be stoked on investing $1 million into something, but if I don't trust the investor, you might as well just give it to your dog and hope maybe he can make it grow in the backyard by shitting on it. Because if this regime can't get these 6 games figured out to show us something on tape that they could do well, I do not trust these coaches to develop any players. Zay Jones had his best game today. And very productive. Very proud of him. Okay? He is here with this coach from East Carolina. And I'm very stoked on the Bills for that reason, that they drafted Zay Jones, this and that. Okay? But again, when I ask your friends and ask your family, what do the Bills do well? You can't name one thing. LaShawn McCoy, given the opportunity, is LaShawn McCoy. But what do the Bills do well? We don't have... The Bills could have every pick in the first round. I do not trust this regime to put those players, as this regime is currently put together, to put those players in the best chance to win. And if the Bills pull the plug on certain people because of whatever, they don't have continuity because they don't want to continue with the coaches, if it was up to me, Chan Gailey would have had another year. The first year was an absolute tire fire. And I know, Chan Gailey laughed. You guys are laughing. Are you serious? Don't turn me off, please. Not yet. Look, his first year, he had an abomination of a roster. Okay? You could also say, well, you had a good defense. Perry Fuel left, and, Chan Gailey messed up the defense, so there's that too. And then he fell on the sword for Dave Wannstedt, pretty much. Fitzpatrick gets a contract in just some Bills fashion. It's not like he gave up, but, Fitzpatrick doesn't show up. Things happen. He gets a little injured. I was there when he got the helmet to the chest in Toronto in the Redskins game. Was it that game? Or was it the Cardinals? I forgot. So it's like I want to support the staff, and I love podcasting because I don't want all the feedback on the team to be, I don't want to say negative, but I want to be more, what's the pulse? What's the real pulse here? What's really going on? And I think the players take a lot more heat. I pretty much do this for the players too. And I know they have money and they should think for themselves, but I don't agree with that because I'm 33 years old and I am still just as dumb as I've ever been. And through having a small business or not, we've all worked hard and made money and not. Money doesn't bring happiness and money does not bring intelligence. And to put all that pressure on players to just have their shit together when, you're kind of, from the get-go, these players are not put in the best position to succeed, I have an issue with it. Because then the players get shit on. And then what happens? We take out the stat book. Pro Football Focus gets grades on these players. Everybody else gets grades on these players. When we don't know what they were asked to do. We don't know if they were put in the best position to win. Why does Cadet show a lot more promise than the other backup running back on the team when the ball's in his hands? The Bills also had some different play calls this week. We should not be smarter. We should not know more about the personnel and how they are used. As fans, we should not know how to use these players better than the coaching staff. That's the beef I got. There's a lot of websites. Cover1.net does the best Buffalo Bills analytics you'll ever see. I think some of the best. Eric Turner does such a great job of translating the game to layman's like me. And you have to be absolutely stupid if you watch this game all the time and just not learn something. And after you take your eyes off of the micro, which is the players, and you take a step back and you look at the coaching, which is, again, tell me what the team does well. The secondary, you could say, is the best thing. And again, Pop On podcast in the beginning of the year, I was raving about McDermott. I'll own it. I was raving. Because I figure, hey, at least we're finally getting these wins, and we can work on correcting the mistakes and the things that we all see here. And Tyrod Taylor had 2 outstanding games. And what do you know? What do you know? I mean, the Bills have, what? Would you say over 100 points in 2 games scored against them? So I think 54 and 47 is, what the hell's that? 101? Like 101 Dalmatians? The Bills have had 101 points scored on them in 2 games. I can't do it. Okay? I just can't. It's not always the quarterback. To the Bills fans out there, argue with me over this Peterman bullshit. Okay? I am so glad you got to see Peterman play. And yes, I was cheering when he was throwing picks. And not cheering for Peterman, not cheering for Bills fans, but cheering in the fact that, like, what is wrong with you people? 3 picks in, still defending the guy. Like, what is wrong with it? We're trying to win a game, and there's 4 picks in the first quarter. Within the first half, within his first 2 series, he threw 1 less interception than Tyrod Taylor. Within the first quarter, and I'm not trying to crush Peterman. He should have been out there. Meanwhile, this kid's psyche could be absolutely ruined. But luckily for him, he transferred colleges. He's got a couple master's degrees, or I don't know if he has master's degrees. He has a couple degrees, business, whatever. He's got a strong head, okay? But message to fans, Bills fans out there, I'm glad this happened. Because now we can appreciate what we have sometimes. And as you know what, maybe Tyrod Taylor masked how much the offensive line really is bad. We saw that. Yeah, Nathan Peterman stood in, throw it up. Yep, you saw what happened. You know, and when Tyrod Taylor went in, he's like, screw it. Let's go. You know what I mean? So, the Bills here, they pretty much have had 34 points from the Jets, 47 points from the Chargers, and 54 points from the 54 points from the Chargers, 47 points from the Saints, 34 points from the Jets. All tongue twister. Okay, so 101 and 34 is 135 points dropped on the Bills in 3 weeks. And the quarterback is the problem? No, it's the whole team. It's coaching. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Grandstand Sports Network. Thank you, Punch Drunk Sports. Please check out Sam Tripoli's special, The Diabolical. It's up on, should be able to download it on iTunes. It's a comedy CD thing. Pretty rad. I have one in my van. Ari Shaffir is a double special up on Netflix. And also Jason Tebow has Return to the Red State coming out. I think it might already came out. But Jason Tebow, Falcons fan, all from Punch Drunk Sports. Follow them on Twitter. Proud to be a part of Punch Drunk Sports Network. Thank you guys. Looking forward to everything coming up. So, Bills fans, keep your head up. And I am just shaking my head all day today over this whole debacle. You can't write this. You cannot write these Bills storylines. You can't write this. I almost just want to put like sentences into a hat and just pick them out. Storylines, just pick them out and put them together and see what happens. You know, like I just want to bet on which bird would fly off of the clothesline first. That's where I'm at in life. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, David Palermo, numbillsfan.com. Please subscribe to the podcast if you enjoy it. Tell your friends. Interact with me on Twitter. To the Reddit crowd, man, you guys are tough. But thank you. I appreciate it. YouTube, thank you for checking out my reaction video. And I guess we'll pump the brakes, as Mike says. I'll get off my ledge by next podcast. And I just want to stay with the coaching staff. If McDermott can turn this around, please, man. I don't want to change coaches again, but really, you're going to leave no choice. Where's the football czar, Pagulas? Find me the football czar, because it's worse than ever. Good night.